What is it about some police departments that are always in the news, right? It's like they stay in the news for their misconduct, for their abuse of innocent citizens, for their corruption, for their lack of transparency, right? Like the Rochester, New York Police Department. Remember when RPD cops pepper sprayed a 9 year old girl? Remember that? You're watching the video now of a 9 year old girl. 9 years old. Handcuffed. And here we go. This guy is getting his gloves ready here. Remember how he pepper sprayed a 9 year old girl? Basically told her, we're running out of patience. These are adults. All of them were men except this one female police officer that you see there. And she was completely unprofessional too. She had no idea how to deal with a child. No training whatsoever. So again, my question is, what is it about certain police departments that are always in the news? I'm talking about it's not just one incident every once in a while. No, it's incident after incident after incident of abuse, of misconduct, of corruption, of cover ups. Take, for instance, the Greece, New York Police Department. They stay in the news. This is a police department, and for those of you not familiar with Greece, New York, it's a suburb of Rochester, New York. The town of Greece, New York Police Department has a long, long history of misconduct, corruption, and cover ups. I mean, it goes back for decades. The cop you're looking at now, the ex Greece, New York police cop that you're looking on the screen now, an ex convict, Gary Pignato, did state prison time for coercing women into performing sexual favors for him in exchange for him not arresting them and violating them on probation for petty little offenses like they were smoking weed. Or he would pull a woman over and find out, run a 1029, which is a record on her, uh, to see her history, see if she has any warrants or whatever. And it came up that she was on probation, so he would basically blackmail her and coerce her into performing sexual favors for him, or he would arrest her. Or Nick Joseph, who drove drunk and high on coke and almost killed a pregnant mother who was stalled on the side of the road on 390 and then ran away, leaving her there. She had the baby prematurely via emergency C-section. And speaking of 390, the most recent incident with the Greece, New York Police Department. Their chief, now ex-chief because he has since resigned, Drew Forsyth, was driving drunk, claimed that he hit a deer, but really ate a guardrail with his police-issued Chevy Cruiser, totaled the Cruiser, then drove towards his home 5 miles on 3 wheels. And with the help of his fellow officers, who let their boss off, they didn't even perform any field sobriety tests. So again, what is it about some police departments that stay in the news for their misconduct, their abuse, and their corruption? And Merritt Ron, he was the former chief of Greece, New York Police Department. He helped cover up the incidents of Pignato and Joseph. And then we come to the Brighton, New York Police Department. A police department which I have written about on my blog, the Davey V blog, and I have also made several videos about. Why is it that you don't hear about Brighton, New York police officers abusing innocent citizens? Why is it that you don't hear about Brighton, New York police officers or their chief driving drunk, driving on three wheels, smashing against guardrails, hitting pregnant mothers who are stalled on their vehicles on the side of the road in their vehicles, and then fleeing the scene? Why you don't hear about that when it comes to the Brighton, New York Police Department? Why don't you ever hear anything about the Brighton, New York Police Department? Could it be that they're a professional police department? Could it be that their officers uh, do a very good job in the community and are basically not criminals with uniforms on? Could that be the reason? Here we see Brighton, New York Police Chief Dave Cathaldi with Brighton, New York Police Captain Mike Desane, a very good friend of mine, has always treated me with the utmost of respect. Here we see them receiving a award from the New York State Justice Service Committee for their professionalism and their dedication. This was presented in Albany, New York. And here is Brighton, New York police investigator Mike Romack and Brighton, New York police investigator Stephen Hunt. And someone who may be familiar to some of the viewers, retired Brighton, New York police officer Mark Skidmore. Great cop, always treated me with so much respect, treated my children with respect. A throwback cop. I always told him, and I've written about him, he reminded me of the old beat cop, that knew everyone in the neighborhood. So again, why is it that you hear about these same police departments always in the news for their misconduct, their corruption, their abuse, their cover-ups, their lack of transparency? And then why is it that there's good police departments like the Brighton, New York Police Department? You don't hear about Brighton, New York Police Chief Dave Cathaldi getting drunk and then thinking he's above the law, right? Think about that. It's always the same police departments you continue to hear about time after time after time. Think about that. Thank you for watching Davey V TV.